Hello, humans. Welcome to the M-Word podcast, brought to you by Martin. That's me.
And Matt.
That's him. Today we're joined by Jade. Jade.
Hi, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Thanks for sparing us a bit of time. Quick question. Well, often we'll start chatting with people around their background, how they got into the sport, but I want to just flip it around a little bit, if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. We've both done a few podcasts and know Matty Rennie, so we've done a few pods on boxing. I think the thing we've never really chatted to Matty about either, really, and I guess those that, I suppose there's casual boxing fans who maybe watch the big fights and perhaps aren't into more the technical art of boxing. I thought we could maybe start there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I don't know a huge amount, but there's obviously many technical aspects. And I think as you learn more about boxing, it becomes more. People describe it as a game of chess. Obviously, it's a bit. You don't get punched in the face in chess, I don't think. But can we just talk about that and sort of your experience of learning? I guess the different aspects to it. I guess from footwork to defense to offense, and just you sort of journey through that and what you've learned and what you're learning, and some of those aspects of what they are as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So. As a lot of people know, obviously, me being in boxing, I started off as an amateur, and you have to learn your do your pedigree throughout there. But then I turned over to the pro because there was so much more to it, and obviously you've got more rounds, so there's more time. And for me, it's with now being the pro game and everything's slowed down a lot more. There's more time to think, more time to set traps. And effectively, you're kind of doing the longer rounds to cause more damage to your opponent, and hopefully to get them out their early doors. Because let's face it, you don't get paid for overtime, do you? So yeah, for me, I'm really enjoying this process at the minute because going from the amateur, everything's like 100 miles an hour. It's a point scoring system. You don't really get time to kind of settle in. If you lose one round, you're kind of chasing your tail. So yeah, with the pro stuff now, I spent half my time in Liverpool with a pro coach, Danny, out of No Limits Gym. And we've really gone back to basics. And I feel like it's done so much for me because I'm not having to think as much now. I'm just having to feel things out, get my range, slow my feet down, and just go back to basics. Like straight punches will win you a fight. A jab will take you around the world. So it's been really interesting. I wouldn't say it can be a little bit boring, a bit repetitive, but it's, when you learn to drive and you're a bit worried about the gears, and then once you get there and you settle, you don't think about the gear change anymore. It just happens naturally. So yeah, it's been good. So
those basics then are they? Would you consider them? They're not in the amateur scene, or they're just different? Yeah,
I think. It's just 100 miles an hour. You're still taught the basics, but not everyone does the basics. Like, I think people sometimes shy away from the basics. And when you look at like your Usyk, like he does the basics so well and it's so effective. And I think people want to have a style and want to look flash and they want to look great, but actually it's just about getting the job done and actually protecting yourself as well.
Sorry, is that they're not doing the basics just because it's a shorter round, so it's more just going, let's say, that health level, just trying to get them on the floor as soon as possible? Why is there such a difference there between the amateur and the when you turn pro?
So obviously, like with the amateur, there's only 3 rounds, but with the pros, you've got a female professional now. I can go up to 10-2s, but as well, I've gone from 3-3-minute rounds to 2-minute rounds now. So effectively, that's a big change because you can get your work done and then there might be a bit of a cuddle in the middle and you're like, oh God, I've only got 30 seconds of that round left. Or you might have, clipped someone and they hold on to you and then that round's, now you're going into round 3, you're going into round 4. So yeah, it's just all about, for me, I never try and be flash. I just try and be effective. And I never worry about the other person. I just focus on what I'm good at. And that's just sticking to the basics.
So let's walk through some of those basics of footwork. Talk us a bit about what's going on with, for example, with footwork for you. And I guess you're looking at your opponent's footwork as well.
Yeah. So for me, it's all about being on your toes, being bent in the knee. And just slowing your feet down a little bit as well. Because if you're just kind of like on your toes the whole time, if you think about if you're kind of halfway in the air trying to land a punch, it's not really going to be effective, is it? So if you're like creeping in, like soft feet, bent knees, you know, you've got good shape, good rotation, and you're within range, and that shot's going to land. So honestly, if anyone was to watch amateur to pro now, they'll see the difference.
Okay.
It's really slowed down. You know, you can speed your feet up when you're trying to like pull someone in the ring, in the corner, and obviously let your shots go. But yeah, it's just all about kind of slowing down and taking your time with it.
So one of the things I chatted to Matty about, actually, he said that and obviously I'm zero boxing ability, but he said he got a mate of his who was half decent boxer into a ring. So how quickly and easy it is to get people into, obviously who aren't boxers, into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I guess we hear the language around cutting off
the ring. Yeah. So that's, for me, it's like in the week I sparred a southpaw, and I sparred her on Monday, and I then sparred her on Wednesday, and I really couldn't get my head around it. And straight away I was like, and after on the Monday, I was like, I knew what I was doing. I wasn't getting my lead foot on the outside of her lead foot. So she was effectively able to just step across. So when I went back on the Wednesday, I thought that I was like, right, I have to fight for the outside. So she can't kind of go to the side of me, and then she's, her strong backhand's on. So yeah, I can guide anyone, especially anyone that's got no experience. I just kind of show them to my inside, and then my right hand's on them. So it's no problem at all. I do a few rounds with like the amateur girls over here. They help me out, I help them out, and you can always get something out of something. And yeah, I work on that a lot. I work on that a lot with them, because it's good to some people a little bit more raw, inexperienced, that it can actually be a bit more of a challenge than it is going in there with someone that's like a decent seasoned pro, because you don't really know what you're going to get.
Yeah, right.
So it's a good opportunity for me to practice that, actually, and just like you say, it's closing off the ring, because if I can get them to go the way I want them to, the backhand's on there, or the lead hook and then the backhand's on, but we always effectively kind of want them pinned in the corner.
A bit of boxing 101 then, southpaw and orthodox.
Yeah.
Explain the differences.
Yeah, so obviously if you're southpaw, you're leading with your... So if you're...
Don't use the word obviously.
Okay, of course, yeah. Obviously, it's obvious to me, isn't it? Yeah. But if you're right-handed, you lead with your left hand, because obviously if you're right-handed...
That's where the power is.
Obviously, that's where your power is, and vice versa with the southpaw. If you kick with your left foot, then your left hand's going to be your strongest. So you always kind of want that full rotation of the hip to come all the way through.
Yeah. And that's where I believe a lot of the power comes from.
It's hip, yeah. It's being bent in the knees. So it's my coach used to say to me years ago, it's like you're putting out a cigarette, you're moving your toe on the floor. So it comes from your toe to your knee to your hip, and then it goes all the way through. So you should have that nice rotation. And
to get that full power, does your foot, obviously you talked there about dancing on the toes, does the foot need to be, if you're trying to get let's say a hard shot off, does the foot need to be completely planted, or you can still do that rotation on your toes?
You're on your toe. Okay. So if your foot's fully planted, you won't get that full rotation of the hip. Yeah, so you've kind of got to be up on... So yeah, when you first start boxing and you're on your toes all the time, your calves are screaming, but you kind of get used to it. But yeah, it's literally full rotation from the foot, the knee, and the hip. Go on.
I presume if you watch them boxing matches and the boxers, as tiredness sets in, do you naturally become more flat-footed, or is it kind of hardwired in not to do that?
It's kind of hardwired in, I think, yeah. It's because you drill it so much, it's just there. Like, don't get me wrong, when we're all tired, the shape, the guard, the stance can all slip. And you might throw a punch like you don't know where it's coming from because you're desperate. But, everyone should kind of revert back to their shape, because if you miss, something's going to always come back, isn't it? So you've always got to be prepared for that effectively.
I watched a fight earlier with the last one with Chambers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember her first name. So the style there of jab, 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 swing, that's because obviously fighters tend to have different styles. Is that
so
jab
that's
move?
Actually something I've gone back, like when I said to you guys about going back to basics. So I'm very aggressive, very, very aggressive. And sometimes it can be a negative whereby I smother my work. And I'll lead in with my punches.
And when you're using the word aggressive, you mean in their base?
I'm non-stop. I don't give them the space. I don't give them the time. So with my coach, Danny, he's always said to me, right, stop smothering your work. Like, be clean with your punches. So I've just worked a lot on on the jab backhand, and then the jab straight after that as well as the defense. And all he wanted me to do from this fight, because I didn't really know much about this girl. It was a pro. All I've been told is that she had some sort of amateur background. So I was like, okay, great. You know, I'm going to have something. I'm going to need to break her down. And yeah, as soon as I caught her with the jab, I knew she didn't like it straight away. And it was just about, I knew I'd probably get her out of there. But in my head, I was just thinking, just be patient, be patient, be patient. Set the backhand up to the body, hands came down. I knew that the head was clear to obviously target then, and then got her out.
Yeah, so interestingly, so then are you looking at, you mentioned earlier about setting traps, is that the type of trap you talk
like
about?
level changes. So we do, what I mean by level changes where like we'll feint, so I might throw a jab to the body and show her that movement, and then I'll do that movement without throwing the jab to the body. So it'll just be like the knees will drop. So she'll think that change in either to the body or the head's going to come. And then effectively, I'll then set up the backhand to the body to hurt her. The hands will come down, then I'll go back up to the head then.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Do you watch a lot of your opponent's fights or do any research, or are you someone who will try to do that and then, you know, watch tape, strategize, all that side to it, or do you concentrate more on your side of the ring?
Do you know what? If I watch them over and over and over again, it makes me anxious, because and then I worry about them rather than actually just thinking about myself. So I'm boxing on the 29th of November, and I got an opponent confirmed yesterday. And I looked at it for 2 minutes and I was like, yeah, fine. Like, yeah, okay. And for me, like, that's why I pay my coach a percentage of whatever purse I get at the end of the fight, because that's for them to do.
Yeah.
So therefore, he gives me what I need to work on, and I only need to worry about myself and know that as long as I've, you know, turned over every stone that needs turning over in a training camp, I'm fully prepared going in there, and I don't need to worry about her. And she can throw the kitchen sink at me, no problem. I'll be ready.
And tell us a bit about that fight. Where's that?
So I'm back in Blackpool again, on a VIP show. So I've been offered a girl called Lindsay Bukanowski, if that's how I pronounce her surname. But she's had 10 as a pro, won 5, lost 5. But she's been in there with like world champions and current like European world champion girls. So the experience is there, and it won't be an easy night. And that's what I want. Like I want that experience, because that's what I was hoping for the last time. Stepping up to a 6 round, I thought I was going to get 6 rounds, but once you hit the deck, I was a bit like, oh, come on, get up again.
So you mentioned, don't hit it so hard next time.
Yeah.
So you mentioned there about the offense side of things. Talk a little bit about I think the previous 2 fights went full distance. So I guess obviously more opportunity there to be all thinking about defense. Do you mentioned there you tend to be more aggressive anyway, but is that an area again you coaches like think about defense, I guess, hands up, move, duck, head movement? Just talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so Danny's always said to me, he's like, look, I know you can fight and that's great. He's like, but you can box as well. Like, you can box. And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's just said to me, like, if you need to fight, you can fight, but just box, because he's very...
And those terms, I guess, I would assume is when they're saying boxes, tactical move thing,
like,
and fighters more scrapping. For want of a better expression.
Yeah, like look at Matty Rennie, like he's a beautiful boxer. Like, you know, he's punch perfect at times, isn't he? And not often that people lay much of a glove on him, do they? Because he you know, he can really box. He's really fluid. He's got great movement. So that's what I've been focusing on a lot more, is that I think I've just been so reliant on my strength, my heart, my determination, that I've got through fights where I've been like, okay, I've dominated, but then I'm like, I've took too many punches there that I didn't have to. So it's a little bit more about, you know, with boxing, it's a longevity game as well. It's not just not in there to get knocked out and knock people out. I'm in there because I enjoy it. I want to box. I want to box beautifully, but I also want to, you know, not be a dribbling mess at the end of my career as well. So there's that also that you need to think about.
Yeah. So what kind of things is that just ring work and teaching about how you know?
Yeah, it's more so, do you know all it is? It's basically leading with the jab. Like, if you're in control of the jab, like if you're just jab, it offsets people all the time. No one can get near you. And I'm quite lucky. I've got a very good jab. I've got quite long arms. So whoever I do spar and I get my jab going off, like, it really unsettles them and they can't really get anywhere near me. So that's what I've been kind of focusing on is just getting behind the jab, and you can set anything up with the jab, like saying about traps. You know, with our feints, like, oh, she's only going to throw a jab again, and I'm not. I'm stepping back and I'm throwing that backhand in. So it's all about variation as well. Like, boxing isn't one dimensional. There's so much to it, and you think that you've grasped one area. Like I said to you, I've been drilling the jab, like just controlling a little bit. And then it's like, oh well, I've done that now. Like there's this area, you need to be better in this area. So, and I think as well, like as you go up through the levels, you're going to meet people that are kind of going to expose certain areas that you need to be better at. And that's what I love about it as well, because you know, you think you've got something, but then it's like, oh no, actually I need to hone in on this, or I need to focus on this a little bit more. So that's what's nice about it.
And how do you balance that then between, let's say, what you would traditionally call your strengths there, where you're talking about the jabs, compared to, okay, there is an area you need to work on. Are you more in the way that you prepare trying to use your strengths rather than spending time on weaknesses, or is it a kind of across the board approach, I guess? I'm just trying to, everyone has their different styles, and in that, I'm guessing they kind of lean into that, or is it more your attitude of, I can win if I know I do this, but as you said, then you might find out the hard way there's something that someone can expose you on, but you're also not going to know that until maybe that does happen. So as you said, it's a constant, from what I'm hearing, constant kind of juggling act of in what must be these training camps.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think the best thing to do is not to overload yourself with everything. It's work on one or two things in a camp. You know, if I'm doing a 6-rounder, I don't really need any more than 8 weeks, anything over that, because you've got to make sure that you don't peak, you know, before the day. It's all about controlling that. So for me, it's like, just stick to the basics and the rest will come over time. In between camps, I like to work on like little things like bent arm shots and stuff like that. But I just think, what is going to get me through this fight? What is going to dominate these rounds? Like a good stabby jab, or do I need to work on feint a little bit more? Or, you know, do I need to work on a little bit more like explosivity in my legs? Or, you know, do I need a little bit more stamina for this camp? Like, how am I feeling? So yeah, there's so much to it. You got your steady state runs, you got your sprints, you got your S&C, you've got your sparring, you got your pad work, you got your bad work. Like there's so much to it. It's ridiculous, but that's why it's so fun, because you're not just stuck to one element. There's so many elements to it, and that's the beautiful thing about boxing is there's just so much to it, and it's fun most of the time.
I'm just going to ask this question before we move on. How do you work on effectively known as your chin? You know, if someone's got a weak chin or something like that, bar getting smacked countless times in a training camp, I've always wondered, if someone knows that's a weakness, how do you improve that?
You've either got one or you haven't got one.
That's what I've always wanted. That's what I've always wondered when we're talking about these areas where you can be exposed or something like that. I guess that's more coming back to the footwork, maybe the defensive, to try and stop that from happening.
Yeah.
There's no, as I said,
I think my coach is he calls it washing your hair, which is like you're constantly just touching. So when you're in range, like, are you washing your hair, Jade? Are you moving your head? Because he wants to make sure that my chin is protected at all time. He doesn't want me in there taking any unnecessary shots, because it's just stupid. Like it really is. It's stupid, and you don't need to do that. But yeah, I think it definitely is a thing. You either have one or you don't have one. I think the hardest I've ever been hit was by a southpaw, a girl called Rihanna Dixon, and she was when I did some rounds with her, she was training for a world title, but she won, and she caught me with a left hook to the chin, and I remember just thinking, where am I? And I just held her for a second until I was clear, and I went back to my corner, and Peter, my coach from over here, was like, how did you just stay up? I said, I don't know. He was like, well, I think you've got a chin, kid. And I was like, oh, that's good to know. He said, but I'm not going to risk getting hit like that again.
Can I ask a question then? Because we see boxers who will box with their hands down, and whenever you watch it, you're thinking what you're doing. But is that, like, obviously you'd assume the basics would always be as much as possible, keep your hands up. But does that create chaos for other fighters, for the opponent, because the hands are out and down and out, that therefore it's harder for the opponent to see what's coming? Or?
Do you know what it is? It's what I would call, they're in a state of flow. Like they're confident. They're confident in their own ability that they can move and get the way. Like Like
till they get caught.
Yeah, like do you know like Lomachenko? Have you ever watched him, the Ukrainian fighter? Like I would recommend anyone to watch Lomachenko. Like he was called the Matrix because he was just his footwork was ridiculous. Like he was there, then he was gone, and he was kind of like bumped around the sides. He fought a lot with his hands down, but that's because he was so confident in his own ability that he could obviously like get out of the range of those shots. But you see it in a lot of amateur now. They fight with their hands down. Me, if like when I boxed Sydney, I think once I kind of knew there wasn't much in her shot, I felt comfortable with my hands down a little bit. But once I was in that short to mid range, my hands would go up, obviously. But I think it's just how you feel. Like if you know you're in there with a big puncher, then your hands are going to stay up. But yeah, like say it's called a state of flow where people just feel like they can just move and get out of the way.
You mentioned at the start there about maybe being slower.
Yeah.
That, I guess you meant partly the fight slower because it's less just landing punches. It's more tactics.
That's it, absolutely. Who's like, do you know, I don't know if you ever watched Beterbiev, the big, like the Russian fighter, like he's so effective. But his hands are here all the time and he's just shooting from his chest and he protects himself and he won't take any damage. But even what he does, it's still really effective, like shooting from here, but he's so strong as well. But yeah, I think it's just like, it's a clash of styles, isn't it? Like people feel comfortable with their hands down. People would rather have their hands up. I'm kind of a little bit in between. Like I might come out and drop my hands a little bit and then I might shoot from just out of range and get myself in again. But if I'm in that danger zone, the hands are up.
Okay. Right.
That's just how I'm drilled. Yeah.
I kind of almost think like if you get in training, why would you ever put your hands down?
Yeah.
But,
people do when you get caught and then you're just
But again, what do I know about boxing? So then glove size, they're based on ounces. They can change. In women's fighting, how does that?
So I wear 8 ounce gloves. They're like the lightest gloves that you can get. So it's under, I think, is it under 63 kilo, under 63? You wear 8 ounce, and if you're over that, it's 10s.
Oh, okay. So there's no negotiation in regard to between the fighters. It's just
And then in the amateurs, it's 10s, and then if you're over 64, it's 12s.
Okay. I'm presuming the bigger the glove, the obviously in theory because you're going up in weight, there's more power, so they're trying to soften the
But in the amateurs, in the amateurs, like the gloves are more like oval.
Okay.
So you wouldn't really see as many knockouts, whereas like the ones in the pros are they're like leather and you can feel your knuckles in them.
Okay.
So they are like, obviously there's no limit in any damagation with them. It's if you get caught with them, like it's
you know about it.
Yeah. I remember the first time I slipped one on for my debut and I was like, shit.
Oh, right.
It wasn't even like me hitting them. I was like, I'm going to be getting hit with these.
All right. And again, shouldn't know, but the ounce thing, is that the weight of the glove? What's the...
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it's obviously set by the British Board of Boxing, like 8 ounce and 10 ounce, but yeah, I'd rather that than the UFC 4 ounce gloves. Like they just look horrendous, don't they?
I get poked in the eye.
Yeah, get poked in the eye. No thanks.
So just speaking of the, I suppose the Boxing Association, so you have to get a license once a year?
Yeah, so when you turn over, you actually have to go for an interview with the British Board of Boxing, and they'll sit you down and they'll be like, they just ask you daft questions like, have you ever been in the sauna? No. Because obviously it's all about weight making, isn't it? And doing it comfortably. I don't use the sauna to make weight anyway. I just think it just makes you feel like shit. They ask you like, who's your best win? What do you want to achieve in boxing? Then after that, they'll say, yes, we're going to put you forward for your license. Then after that, you've got a brain scan and you've got your like medicals, which is like your bloods and everything like that. And then you get your license after that.
Do you pay for all that?
Everything, yeah. So I think my medical's about £1,000 a year.
Right.
Yeah, so it is heavy. I only boxed twice last year as well, so...
Yeah, I guess that balance, isn't it, then? Because you want to almost get value out of the brain scan and the thing. And then
really, like, a
couple of fights or a fight's cancelled. And
you guys will probably know through Matty, it's all about selling tickets at the minute, isn't there? So there's no money in it. I mean, one day I hope there is, because that would be amazing. But I got into it knowing there's no money in it. I don't expect any money out of it. And if something does come, like, I don't have any expectations other than just to enjoy it and do the best that I can do. So if anything does come out of it, then that's great. But any money that I do get back, which I haven't had any money back, goes towards medicals and travel and all that stuff as well. Because you guys know it's hard, it's expensive getting off this island, isn't it?
Yeah. And do you get locals whether it's family, friends, and or
Yeah,
businesses
do you know what?
supporting you?
I've had so many people. I've got so many friends and family that support me, and like some local businesses as well. They're really good, and without them, like I wouldn't be able to pay. So when I've got a fight camp, I train. I go away 3 days a week, so I do 2 nights, 3 days, and that enables me to get my sparring in and have a bit of one-to-one time with the coach to work on a few things. So, and without that, like it's absolutely invaluable. And where I've come from, the first fight to my last one is just like it's just crazy. And I think for me, because sometimes you wonder whether it's worth it, don't you? And I think the last fight, just seeing the levels, it's absolutely worth its weight in gold. So
let's talk about levels a little bit. I think I read a quote after you at the 2022 commies. And I think you mentioned there about levels.
Yeah.
How was that first experience representing the Isle of Man? And then
it was just amazing. Like when it got put to me, I was like, surely not. I'd not had that many fights either. So when I got asked that did I want to go? I was obviously like, yeah, but I'd have to qualify. I qualified for it off my own back, which obviously is amazing. But
do you get any help from Isle of Man Sport?
No, I didn't get anything leading up to it, but I do get help now, which is good, and they're amazing what they do down there. But yeah, it was just unreal. So when it came to it about qualifying, you have classes within the amateurs, and there's like you've got your 0 to 5s, so you wouldn't really box anyone who's unboxed anyone over 5 bouts. Like you've got to kind of keep it equal. And I'd only had like 10 fights, so effectively I was rushed through to the elites at like fight 11. And was like my first fight. It was against a girl called Sarah Dunn who'd had like 50 as an amateur. Like being in the GB setup, I'd sparred her and like shit myself many times, but I boxed her. Didn't win, but I got so much from that and so much confidence. Obviously leading up to the games, like did a few like little tournaments and stuff. Got there, amazing experience. Got the draw done. Didn't get to box in the first round. Got a bye through to the quarterfinals, which isn't always great because you just want to box, don't you? And you want to soak up the atmosphere, and you just want to, because I'd been there like nearly 2 weeks by the time I boxed, and it's quite nerve-wracking, and you're around other competitors and you don't know who's who and blah blah blah, and you're trying to make weight. But I think like obviously boxing Gemma Richardson, like she's class, amazing. Didn't stand a chance against her, but it's experience that I've gained from then. And I think like from where I'm at now to then, it's like it's a total different Jade now. And I'd love to do it again. I would absolutely love to do it again. But the experience that I got from that was just like, it was amazing, absolutely amazing.
And in boxing, once you've gone pro, can you box in the commies, or are they done because it's amateur?
Yeah, no, I can.
Okay.
Wouldn't say that I've not had a chat about it, but I'd have to surrender my pro license to England Boxing, reapply as an amateur, and then go. As long as I stay under 6 fights, then it is a possibility.
Right.
So who knows? It might be on the cards if it works out.
Well, let's go Glasgow next, isn't it?
Glasgow, yeah.
And there is boxing. I know it's a more limited, but
the right weight classes are there as well.
Right.
So, but when I went there last time, there was a few girls from, I think there was New Zealand, Nigeria. They were pros as well. So I know there's obviously always qualifying standards, but I'd like to hope that maybe it will work and it'll line up. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, great. I love another chance.
And I mean, you mentioned about whether you'd ever make money from it. That's obviously not the driver here. But in women's boxing, is the obviously they're as they should be on what's the right word, main cards now, and often and seen as what are the top fights called?
Yeah, like the world,
the main fight or whatever. Yeah,
world title fight time.
Yeah. Like, so is what's pay like in the?
I'm not too sure. Like, I think it depends who you are. Like, social media is massive nowadays, and if you've got a bit of a name and a following, then obviously you're gonna pull in more of a crowd. You're gonna be a big ticket seller. You're someone to put bums on seats, kind of thing. So, I think, like I know girls that are getting maybe like couple $100K a fight.
All right, okay.
If you've got a world title, like Katie Taylor does $1 million a fight now. Well, she got, I think her last fight she made $6 million against Serrano. So you know what, it's kind of what she deserves. Like, she's paved the way for women's boxing, but it's definitely getting bigger. I think what Jake Paul's doing in America with his MVP promotions is really big news. There's a couple of girls that I know that have signed with him, and that's life-changing money for them. You know, they've given a lot to the sport, and hopefully they'll be getting something back, and they can, you know, buy a house outright, or, you know, live a little bit more comfortably and not having to have a second job or anything like that. So who knows? It just takes one opportunity, doesn't it? So, and I will never ever shy away from an opportunity. I back myself 100% against anyone with a good camp anyway. And I think with each fight, it's just more experience gained, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And on that social media side, do you do much, or do you tend to, from that look,
I'm not great, if I'm honest with you. I think it's not really at the forefront of my mind. Like, I'll go in the gym and I'll think, shit, that was a really good session. I should have got some sort of footage, but it's not a priority. But I think I need to probably make it more of a priority, or get a little bit of help off someone who could just pop in the gym and get a bit of footage and do it for me. That'd be idea. Anyone who wants to help, shout me out. But that's unfortunate. It's just the way the world's going, isn't it? Like, everyone's just mad on social media. Like, people who aren't on social media don't know what's going on. I've got a few friends who aren't on it, and they're like, "Oh, didn't know you were at that." You know, it's because they're not on it. So
it's there's certainly sports out there. I'm trying to think. I've had some conversations recently where maybe even I mean, Jake Paul's probably not a bad example. I'm sure he's seeing box. He's looks okay. I suspect he's not. You stick him in with world-class fighters, will be out of his depth. But there's a guy who obviously, social media-wise, has leveraged that, and fair play to him, to then earn the type of money that the top guys ultimately, and probably more than some of the top guys.
People are paying the money to watch his fights because they've bought into this character that he's, you know, portraying, but he's actually a really lovely guy, but people want to see him get knocked out, so they're paying that pay-per-view because they want to see him get knocked out. And he's like going home probably laughing, thinking, idiots, just made, like, you know, 20 million off them. And that's not him as a person at all. That's just a character, isn't it? So but unfortunately, like, in boxing, like, chatting shit, like, it brings a lot of attention to the plate. And people say to me, like, maybe that's what you need to do. And I think, I'm like, well, it's not me as a person. Like, it's not me. I'm not that.
Was there a thing there to go, you need to create a character?
If sometimes, like, someone said to me, you should, like, comment on such and such's page and who's got a belt and be like, that was a shit performance. Like, think of me next time, blah, blah, blah. You know, I think I'd probably do it in a little bit more of a diplomatic way, but, you know, and I just think, how would I handle it if someone was giving me shit face to face? Like, I'd probably laugh, but it's just not me. You know, like, I'm too old for that now, but sometimes you've just got to do that, haven't you, to kind of bring attention to yourself. And I've seen it. I've seen, like, nobodies get big fights because they've been chatting shit on social media, and it obviously works. So maybe I'm gonna have to start doing it.
Go on, stop slagging people off. No. So I wanted to then go back. Like I say, we often talk about journey. I know we used to play football, which was obviously a team sport. What you do now, individual. What's that like for you? Like, do you prefer? I appreciate in boxing, look, you do have a team. You've got a corner, you've got trainers.
Yeah.
But obviously, when it comes to fight night, there's only yourself in the ring. How do you find that different? Do you prefer the team sport that you used to do, or do you miss that element of it, or because you ultimately got a team around you in regard to all your training, it's just that 20 minutes in the ring where you're quote alone?
Do you know what? It's so much different. So, played team sports my whole life, like, gone the Island Games with football, like, done it all, had some amazing times, but I always felt like I had a bit of a void missing, like, and I didn't know what it was. And when I started going down the boxing club, it just gave me that, like, I don't know, it just gave me a bit of a desire, like, it lightened something in me. And then when I had that first fight, I was like...
What made you go down the boxing then?
I probably wasn't in a great headspace when I'd kind of fallen out of football, put a little bit of weight on, and my best friend Leonie, her dad runs the gym, Peter Roberts, so I started going down there, just ticking over, trying to get fit again. And he said to me, why don't you just have a go? And I was like, my mum's always said to me, she didn't want me to have cauliflower ears, so I was a bit like, do I, don't I? And I was like, oh, do you know what? Like, what the hell? Do it. Did it, like, best feeling in the whole world. And I was like, after that, I was just searching for that again. But the level that I'm at now, the only difference is I miss the camaraderie, the banter. I could turn up on a Sunday, can't really be asked, and I've got another 10 girls that'll just drag me along. Whereas with the boxing now, I'm so driven by the fear of not being humiliated or getting knocked out in the ring that I'm just out pounding them pavements as hard as I can, day in, day out. And I didn't really have that with the boxing because I knew that some days I might have a blinder, some days I might not. But as soon as you step in those ropes, you're by yourself, that's it. And it is lonely, I must admit. Like, I woke up this morning, I knew I had to go and get, my 4 miles in. Could I be asked? No, because it's minging out there today, isn't it? But I'm driven by the fear.
Yeah.
And it's like a switch. It's like as soon as you got an opponent, you are so driven by the fear of. Mine is probably failure a little bit. I don't ever want to see my mum watch me get knocked out either. So that's another one. And just letting myself down. I think when you're from like a small community like the Isle of Man, and everyone's so invested in what you do that you want to just do everyone proud as well. So that also spurs me on and kind of drives me when I can't be asked, but I do it because I love doing it. So, and I want to see how far I can go with it.
What is that fear of failure from, do you think?
I don't know. I think it's just maybe like obviously a bit of lack that I've got on myself. I think I've always just put a lot of pressure on everything that I do. Like, I don't know. I think we're all kind of driven by winning, aren't we? But I've had to like kind of look at that a lot and be like, well, what is that in me? Because it actually doesn't matter really at the end of the day, does it? It doesn't. I don't know. I think everything that I've done, I've always just wear my heart on my sleeve and I just want to do the best. And I think because I've like where I'm at, like, working behind a bar, I've not really got a career going at the minute apart from I am doing what I'm doing and love doing what I'm doing, but I want to just be able to make it work. Do you know what I mean? And give it a good go. So when the day comes where I hang up my gloves, I've given that everything I've been able to give it.
So and you mentioned the word motivation before, whether we can hear the howl and wind in the background. The quotes and stuff you see, or people I listen to, they talk about I suppose the difference between motivation and discipline, because motivation kind of comes and goes, where discipline's. So would you say you're disciplined rather than motivated?
100%, yeah. I think without discipline, there's no motivation, is there? I think discipline is, like I said to you this morning, like it's pissing down with rain. It's windy. Do I want to go out and run? No, but do I have to? Yeah. So I'm going, and that's it. And do I feel better afterwards? Yeah, because it's done. And it's Sunday, and there's a day's not been lost. It's only been earned, and then next week's a new week. So that's kind of my approach to it. So 1% every day is how I look at it. So
what would you say to people, maybe they're not even in sport, but they just need to start that couch to 5K or whatever it is?
I think from experience, just don't put any pressure on yourself. I think always start with small goals. Like if you were to wake up and go, I'm going to start a couch to 5K, start your goal of getting off the couch. Like that's the main starting point, isn't it? Not, I'm going to do a 5K today, because let's face it, that's just, if you don't reach that target, then you're only going to be upset, aren't you? So I think it's just about being real, being realistic to yourself, but being kind to yourself at the same time as well, and know that, each day's different and not every day is going to be easy. It is going to be tough, but just look at that 1% every day.
Yeah. Marginal gains, as we call it.
Absolutely, yeah. That's it.
The team, so do your family have sports background?
Not really, no.
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 So you got into, was football your main sport?
Yeah,
pre-boxing?
Well, I grew up in Williston, so I used to just knock around with play football with all the lads out there, and then went and just ended up playing at school, and then and then you used to be able to play senior women's football from 14, so I got into it from an early age, and I just loved it, and the team that I had and the group of girls were just amazing, and it carried all the way on through, and it's only kind of the past, probably leading up to the Commonwealth Games, that I had to kind of put it on as a back burner. I did play a couple of weeks ago, and I literally couldn't walk for days. So I was like, maybe I need to. And
you don't want to get injured, do you? You want to roll your ankle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Matty says the same. I think he plays a bit of football, did play a bit of football, but there's a point where you're taking, I guess, your professional career professionally, and it's
that's it. It's more just like, and it's so different, isn't it? It's like even playing football, that little like quick change of speed and direction. It's like you're not really used to using them muscles anymore. So you like your glutes are killing you the next day, and then you're just like you can't even bend down to put your socks on. So I was like, I think I'll give that a miss, especially when a fight's coming up as well.
so jumping around. Let's talk about weight in boxing. So what category and weight is that category that you're in?
So I naturally am a lightweight, so that's 60 kilos. On the day, I will make that weight, no problem. But the last fight against Sydney, I got asked to make 9 stone 2, which was 58 kilos. And I think for the Commonwealth Games, I weighed in at 58.9. But that was like the lightest I've ever weighed in. And to ask me to weigh in on a day at 5 o'clock was just, it was probably the most horrendous weight cut I've ever had in my life.
I'm sorry, is that 5 p.m.?
5 p.m.
So I was in like 3 hours before the fight.
Like no, that was like first bell was 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay, yeah, but that evening, yeah.
So I was literally like nil by mouth from like lunchtime the day before. So no water, like I had a chicken breast from Nando's at 1 o'clock the day before, and all week I'd like high fat diet.
And you're weighing yourself every day.
Every 5 minutes. I'm like, come on. No sodium.
Is that not dangerous to weigh people in only 2 hours before?
100%, yeah.
Why do they do that? I appreciate time out and it's difficult.
It's a money thing, isn't it? Because if we'd have done the day before weigh-in, like it's paying them a hotel and it's paying them this and their expenses and stuff, like which I'd have paid out of my own pocket, no problem. But I have said, like, going forward, like it can't be any more, it can't be any less on the day than 60.
Yeah, so how did you feel dropping to 58 then? To that, so after what that sounded like,
it was pretty grim, if I'm honest with you. Like I just remember I got weighed in, straight to the change rooms, had all my liquids and foods weighed out and ready, and I was just drinking electrolytes, but I was shaking. And it's funny because you know Jamie Devine, he was like, I could hear it, I can hear the dehydration in your voice, which I didn't know was a thing, and he was like, it is a thing. But I think for me, like once I'd got the fluids in me, my coach went to the promoter and said, she's not going. I was due on first. He said, she's not going on first. Forget it. She goes on second or not. So that did me an extra 40 minutes. So I think I went on. It was more kind of like close to 8 o'clock, and I felt okay. And
you have to be careful not, I suppose, drinking too much and assuming trying to get a bit of food in,
that's
even if it's a bit
so I had
soft food.
So I've got a nutritionist, Ben Webb, and he was like, you got your 400 ml of solution, like just sip it over half an hour. Then after that, have this and that and that. And I did feel okay actually. And when I went in there, I felt full. I felt okay. But yeah, I think if it was ever the like day before weigh-in, I could make 57 no problem. But that's having 24 hours to kind of recover. But yeah, it was a bit of a grim week.
And I get the cost thing, but obviously with boxing and safety, it's
bonkers, isn't it?
To go in, I'm not saying you dehydrate, but it's obviously a lot more risk.
Yeah, and that's it. Imagine like going in there against a big puncher and not fully hydrated. You're not fully hydrated, are you? After 2 hours, like let's have that right.
Who's setting that weight then?
The matchmaker, yeah.
Because are they looking at where you said normally 60? Are they looking at your opponent and then trying to find a middle ground, or that's what it feels quite disadvantageous then if you've got to drop more than your opponent? It's kind of who sets that and why?
So it's more like the matchmaker, but I think the issue that I'm having at the minute is it's the opponents. Like obviously about journey women or people that go in the away corner. So effectively, out of the tickets that I sell, I have to pay them a wage. So the girl that I had last time, so she was £2,000 for a minute and a half worth of work, which is not bad money, is it? But
so why didn't she? You mentioned Journey Lady. So why aren't they selling tickets and making?
Because they're just on the road. They're just they get called in last minute, or if they're without journeymen and women, like boxing would really struggle because they're the people that you gain your experience with. They're not quite world class. They're just okay. Like they're just bog standard. But some people make like a real good living out of that. Yeah, some people box but then again for her, because she got stopped, that's a 28-day ban, so she won't be able to box or get paid again.
Oh, okay.
So when you're a prospect,
so mean to her,
Jade. I know. Sorry about that. But when you're a prospect, it's all about obviously building building. It's about building blocks, isn't it? The experience, and it's kind of
how do you move? Is it just there's a natural movement from a prospect to becoming a journey person? How does that? So
Yeah.
obviously it's not on your card, is it?
So I've had
So-
like 3 people now that are all kind of like have been journey women, and they've
Sorry,
been,
yeah, women. I mean.
yeah, they've been okay. You know, no one's given me like a rough night or anything yet. And then this next fight now against Lindsay will boost me up a little bit in the ratings. You know, when I beat her. And then after that, people will probably look at me and go, right, okay, let's maybe look at her for another prospect, and we might fight for an area title or I don't know, like the Commonwealth or the European or something like that. So that's kind of the road that we're leading to. And I think that last fight against Sydney, I was a bit pissed off when I got out of the ring, actually, because like I said about the money thing, like it's £2,000 there. Like I want the experience. Like it's a great knockout highlight reel, whatever that everyone keeps telling me, but I've not experienced 6 rounds yet.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I want 6 rounds, because I might go into the next 6 round and be like last, you know, round 5, round 6, like, Jesus, this is tough.
Blown a bit. Yeah,
But that's what I want, that experience. So, but we will get there at some point, hopefully.
So let's talk just mindset for a moment. The language you use there, when I beat, and I guess boxing's like most sports anyway. It's about having the right mindset, and so just again, does that differ from? Maybe it does differ from, let's say, team sport, because you've got 12 people perhaps with that mindset, so you can be maybe slacker in that area at times. But what's that like in boxing? Is that something you actively work on, or your coaches are maybe subtly doing that? Or...
I think it's just like, however...
Appreciate you're not going to sit and say, if I beat her, but...
No, I think for me, like I used to really doubt myself all the time, and I'd get so nervous. And I've only kind of really had a real switch in mindset probably like the last year, where I feel like no one can beat me. That's just how I feel. I feel like on my day, like no one can beat me. That's just how I feel. And it's not in a cocky way or anything. I just really believe in my own ability, that if everything goes right how it should be, like I feel like I'm a nightmare for anyone, and I know that. But I've always kind of had a thing, like, if you see it and you believe it, then you achieve it, don't you? Like, if you wake up in the morning, you think, can't be asked, then your day's going to be a long, slow day. Whereas if you wake up in the morning, you're like, today's going to be a great day. I can't wait. Like, let's just attack the day. Then you're going to have a really good day. So I try and approach that mindset. And don't get me wrong, it's not all like flowers and roses every day. Like, I wake up and I'm such a moody cow that my partner's like, can you go away? But that's just normal, and you have that. But it's something that I'm really having to work with. And I just think if I can just put as much positivity in whatever that I do and whatever I imagine, that hopefully that's how it kind of passes off on anything that I do.
Yeah, for sure.
We all do different things, don't we? But yeah, mine's more of like, I just try and imagine it. I imagine my hand being raised. That's just how, and then how I get my hand raised, whether it's, you know, through having to grit down and scrap, or I box beautifully, but I get my hand raised. That's just how I do it.
Yeah. So you came, I mean, a lot of the press, etc., and interviews you talk about, or we talk about coming into women's boxing late. So and I don't know the scene particularly well. Are the what age are world champions? Is it a younger, older lady sport?
No, it's more like Katie Taylor's 38.
Okay.
A lot of them are older. In my stable in Liverpool, I train with Meatball Molly, Molly McCann, who's come from the UFC. So I spar her regularly, and she's older than me. She's 35, and you know, she firmly believes that she's going to be a world champion. So it just shows you like where it's at now. I don't know. I feel like women have a little bit more of a longevity within the sport. I don't know why, but like, you know, you've got Natasha Jonas. She's only, I don't even think she's retired yet. She went to the Olympics. She recently tried to defend her world title loss, but yeah, there's a lot of world champions around like mid to late 30s now. Like I say, like women's boxing is huge. It's got a bigger audience now, and you've got younger girls coming through. So you're probably going to see that now the next few years. But yeah. So
maybe that age thing is just obviously didn't quite have the profile well as it does now.
And a lot of women obviously stuck to amateur, but now there's money in it. People are turning over now. So because people are obviously looking for the opportunity, aren't they? And it is a good time to turn to women's boxing. So
do you have an end goal, or do you just look at next fight, deal with that, go through?
My end goal is want to hang up the gloves.
No, I meant in boxing.
In boxing is to just box on the biggest stage that I can box at. Is not to shy away from any opportunities to take it, because I think if something's put to you and you don't take it, then you'll never know, will you? So yeah, I will take any. I got offered a 6-rounder against Kirsty Hill back in the end of August. It fell through in the end, but she was the current Commonwealth champion, and it was only a 6-rounder. But the deal was, if I beat her, then I box her for a title. So obviously, me being me, I was like, I can beat her. Firmly believed I could beat her. And I have been kind of chasing her, and I've been saying her name in a few interviews, and she's not really bitten yet. But she's boxing a girl soon, so we'll just see where that's at, and then maybe I'll start
calling her out on social.
Again. Yeah, definitely.
And you mentioned that you were going to say after boxing.
Yeah, after boxing, I really don't know. I don't know what I want to do after boxing. This is what I mean. I still feel like, everyone's so focused on career, aren't they? Like, I generally don't know what I want to do.
It's good though if you now at the moment, if
fully committed.
Whether you call it chasing your dream or doing something you enjoy, I suppose.
That's it. Do you know what? I'm not driven by money. Like, I'm really not bothered. Like, I have enough to pay my mortgage, get by, go on some nice holidays now and again with my partner. I'm not bothered by money. Like, it really doesn't motivate me. I like experiences. I like going away. I like traveling. I like going on holiday, things like that. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Cool. Well, good luck. It says 28th, your fight.
29th of November in Blackpool, yeah.
Okay.
So if anyone fancies it, yeah, hit me up.
Have a weekend away.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that Friday night?
It's a Saturday night, yeah.
Okay. A few beers,
magical town of Blackpool.
Right. There's a lot going on there,
isn't there just?
Yeah.
When was the last time you've been?
I couldn't tell a story about that. Yeah, not about me, but my wife had an experience and a half. But it's not one for the cameras.
No, I can imagine.
But yeah, I've not been to Blackpool for a long time. Cool. Thanks, Jade. Appreciate your time coming in.
Yeah,
really insightful chat.
And
thank you for the education on boxing.
Cheers.
All right. It's word out from Martin.
And word out from Matt.
4 flimsy humans. Don't you wish you were flawless like me? A towering inferno of physical perfection?
I hate to pop your blimp-like ego, but you're not perfect.